Tower of Fantasy is terminating their global servers. Just not necessarily in the way that you think. If you're interested in my full thoughts, my dedicated 2024 review of Tower of Fantasy, I do have a video for that over on my Stix Plays channel as part of my Worst Gotcha Ever series. I urge you to check that out if you're at all interested in playing this moving into 2025. On December 21st at 10 p.m., the official TOF English Tower of Fantasy Twitter made a post stating, "Dear authorizers, thank you for your support of Tower of Fantasy. We'd like to inform you of an important change regarding the main character's voiceover. Please see the attached image for details. We apologize for any inconvenience and appreciate your understanding." The image goes on to read, "Due to publishing plan adjustments and after careful consideration, starting from version 4.5, we will no longer provide English, Japanese voiceovers for the male and female protagonists in new content. However, all MC voiceovers from versions prior to 4.5 will be retained." I know immediately there were people that found issue with this, like Chaos down here. I don't think this is the right choice and hope this decision will be reconsidered. So now we'll have everyone talking except the main character. That doesn't make sense. It breaks immersion and sticks out like a sore thumb. I think this is due to one of several reasons. One, the English voice actor for the male and the female protagonist is under contract with Level Infinite, and that means that after transitioning to Perfect World Games, they no longer have that license, that contract in place, and therefore Perfect World Games is going to have to reestablish a contract or a license with them. I think that is the most likely instance, but at the same time, there is going to, at the very least, be a version, maybe multiple versions, where there is no talking from the main character whatsoever, and they will just have subtitles, whereas all the other characters are going to be fully voice acted. And it also confuses me a little bit, because if that is the case, and once again, I do believe that is, why is the contract and the license with all the other characters still in active effect, just not the main character, unless the voice actor for the main character chose not to renew their contract with Perfect World Games? I don't know the legitimate reason behind doing this, but they're realistically the only two options that I speculate being plausible. We fully understand that this change may significantly impact your gaming experience, and we deeply apologize for any inconvenience this may cause. We sincerely appreciate your understanding and support. The Tower of Fantasy team will continue to strive for better game content and experiences for all our players. If this doesn't smell like EOS, then I don't know what will. Oh no, female MC voice was good too. Does this have anything to do with the voice actor strikes? This is not a good sign for the spending player. Game is dying. This will make it more so keep up the great work. Co-op events are so hard to queue to do something. Honestly, once again, I think this is just purely related to the contract and maybe it expiring, maybe the voice actors no longer continuing to work with the devs. On the 24th of December, the TOF English official Tower Fantasy Twitter made another tweet. "We'd like to inform you that starting February 23rd, 2025, the global version of Tower of Fantasy will be operated by Perfect World Games. Important. Notice of publisher and operation changes. Dear authorizers, Level Infinite would like to share some important news about Tower of Fantasy. Starting February 23rd, 2025, the game will be published, operated, and managed by Perfect World Games, a parent company of Hada Studio. Please accept the transfer of your Tower of Fantasy data to a Perfect World account in order to ensure your game progress, virtual currency, items, and purchase services remain unaffected. We're committed to making this transition to a new publisher for Tower of Fantasy as seamless as possible. Rest assured our servers will remain active until February 23rd, ensuring you can continue enjoying the same high-quality gaming experience you've come to love. Here is the important information you need to know. How will this affect Tower Fantasy data? We'll allow users to continue playing Tower Fantasy with their existing gaming progress. We'll open a Tower of Fantasy account transfer and authorization verification page beginning on December 27th, that is tomorrow, till April 24th, 2025. Users who agree to transfer their data will have their Tower Fantasy data migrated to the new publisher. Users who do not agree or fail to authorize the transfer within the specified time frame will have their data deleted. See, I think it is so this right here, this has its pros and its cons. On the one hand, a positive is that the publishing rights are going back to the original developer. That is good, because that means Level Infinite is now going to have no input whatsoever in the publishing of the game. The original developers are going to have a seamless transfer between The Chinese version, the global version, the PlayStation, PC, and mobile versions of the game. This is good news. Why this is bad news? If you do not authorize the transfer before April 24th, you lose everything. Everything. Your account is wiped. All the money you spent on this game is wiped. You lose all your characters, all your progress. All data will be wiped if you do not initiate this transfer. So if you, let's just say you quit Tower Fantasy on November 30th, and you're like, I'm gonna wait until like version 5.0 comes out, or 5.1 or 5.2, I'm gonna take a 6-month break from the game, and you've spent $1,000 on it. Well, you know what? Fuck you, because now you no longer have an account. You didn't realize that they were transitioning over. Your data is wiped. $1,000 you spent on the game is now forfeit. You have no account. That is the bad. So there is a pro, there is a con, there are multiple. They're good, bad, positive, negative. They do elaborate further on this. Before we go any further, let me take a moment here to thank my incredible patrons over on Patreon and my YouTube channel members who allow for me to continue to do dedicated videos like this every single day. You guys are phenomenal, and I can't thank you all enough for the support. Now let's keep talking. Users can authorize a transfer and link to a Perfect World account by accessing the Tower Fantasy account transfer and authorization verification. That's quite a mouthful. Page through an in-game pop-up after logging in. The authorization page will be open from December 27th until April 24th. You need to confirm on this page whether you agree to Tower Fantasy's data transfer. After the change of publisher, Tower Fantasy will adhere to the new publisher's privacy policy, which will differ to level infinites. So make sure to read the Perfect World Games privacy policy carefully before authorizing data transfer. What if I do not consent? Then just don't do it. The authorization page goes live on December 27th. The data transfer and decision modification period will last until February 23rd. On February 14th, the transition of stored at publishing rights in-game top-up services are going to be disabled. February 23rd, Level Infinite servers will officially shut down. All customer service and related services will be discontinued. The go live date for the new server will be announced by Perfect World Games. So we're not sure right now whether it's going to go live the same day on February 23rd, or if it's going to be down for a day, several days, a week, several weeks at this point. Final closure of Tower Fantasy account transfer and authorization page on April 24th. April 30th, we'll have Tower Fantasy data for which authorization was declined or not completed officially deleted. Let's see what some people are saying about this. My content getting deleted? Ouch. Kind of horrifying for an original player out of the loop. That is very much so the truth, which is one of my main concerns with this. It seems like this is good news. It is good and it is bad, depending on which side of the fence you're on and how in the loop you are with everything going on. 2 months is not enough time. Well, that is why we have until April. So realistically, 3.5, 4 months. So many people are going to lose their accounts and be pissed. Yeah, that is true. That is true. That is one of the downsides to this. Is this good news or bad news? It is both. Will this make cross-platform playing with PS possible? You know what? That is a valid question. They're both going to be published by the same studio now, so maybe. There are a lot of people asking if this is good or bad, though. On December 25th, Christmas morning, the very next day, dear authorizers, thank you for your continued support. Following the publisher change, we'd like to inform that starting from February 23rd, the Tower Fantasy creator space will be closed. A link to this article. Due to the transfer of publishing service to website and the related creator activities hosted on it will be terminated following the transfer. The website will shut down permanently on February 23rd. The TOF creator space will not host new events, including version 4.5 TOF Crowd Creation Project and IDA Pioneer Growth Project. We deeply regret any inconvenience this may cause. Now, I am going to go out on a limb here and assume the developers are going to open their own creator program at some point in the future. As someone who has been making submissions in the Creator Hub for almost 1.5 years now, this is quite disheartening. Please tell me there's an alternative or a new program. Will there be a substitute alternative? I hope so. This might be worse than just simply ending service. I'm so worried for the future of Tower of Fantasy. I really hope that means that you'll find an alternative to that, because as a content creator myself, this content creator space is a lot to us, and that is very true. I do genuinely hope a new content creator program is made for content creators in mind. A lot of smaller content creators do rely on the benefits, the rewards, the additional exposure that being in that content creator program provides them. But this is it. This is the entirety of the Tower of Fantasy transition, shutdown, end of service announcement that has been going around the internet right now. A lot of people were asking me to cover it. They wanted me to talk smack about how this is, or this does spell the end for the game, because why else would Level Infinite be giving up on them, right? Why else would they be pulling out when they already published so many incredibly successful and popular gacha games like Nikke? But honestly, I don't think this is a net negative. I don't think it's good, because if there is bad attached to it, it can't be good, right? But at the same time, if there is good attached to it, then it can't be bad. So I don't think this is good, and I don't think this is bad. I think there are good aspects to this, and I think there are bad aspects to this. I'm not sure which one outweighs which yet. I guess we're gonna have to see how Perfect World Games really approaches this with regards to the release date, with regards to the content creator program. Right now, all we can do is speculate and hope for the best. At the end of the day, Tower of Fantasy just, it's in a state of stagnation. Like, it just, almost a day ago, 4K views, 90 likes. You know, its social media paints a very concerning picture. Very few people cover it, very few people discuss it, and honestly, this is essentially being preceded by Neverness to Everness. People that were fans of Tower of Fantasy are going to move on to their bigger, their better, their newer, more polished title. It makes sense. It genuinely does. Neverness, from what I played, was a very fun game. I had issues with the combat that I hope are being worked on. I was told by one of the devs that they forwarded my concerns directly and that this will in fact be worked on, so I appreciate that. But at the end of the day, making fun of, taking shots at, and beating a game to death when it is already dead is kind of redundant. There's no point in doing that. Hey you, where do you think you're going? Don't you close out of this tab. I didn't give you permission to do that. Sit your ass back down. Click one of the 2 videos that are gonna be on screen in just a moment and keep watching my content. Keep enjoying my content.